So good morning students. In the last video we discussed about the concept of litmus paper and litmus solution. So continuing with the chapter acid, bases and salts. So what we discussed was that acids they change blue litmus red and the bases they change red litmus blue. While if you are going to test for the acids for blue litmus, for the red litmus, then they are not going to give you any color change. And similarly for the bases, if you are going to check bases for the blue litmus, then they also don't show any color change. So that means for testing red litmus or for testing acids, you need blue litmus, and for testing bases, you need red litmus. So the required color changes will be there. Now we will be studying about more different types of substances. So here I am having different substances with me. Okay, so let's check their acidic and basic character. So I am going to take this one firstly. Okay, so let us take the solution in the dropper and I will be testing with both the strips, the blue one and the red one. Okay, so here are both the strips. So I am just going to pour a drop of this solution on the red also and on the blue also. Okay, so I have poured a single drop of this solution on both the litmus strips. So you can see clearly the red litmus has changed into blue while the blue litmus has not changed its color. Okay, so these are the tests you can see. So if red litmus is changed into blue one, that means the given substance is a base. So that means the thing that we have tested, this thing, right? So this is basic in nature. So similarly testing for the next substance, now I am having this. Okay, so again we are going to take this solution in the dropper and again we will be testing it for the acidic and the basic character on the both the litmus papers. So blue and the red strips I am having. So let's pour a drop of this solution on one strip and on the other strip. Okay, so clearly the changes you can see, right? So blue litmus has changed into red color and red litmus is unchanged. Okay, so what this specified that the given substance is acidic in nature because the blue litmus has changed its color into the red one. Okay, so testing for the next one now. So let us check it. Again I am having a solution. You can see this is and here the paper strips are. Okay, so this is red and this is the blue. So let's pour a solution of this on both one and one drop of this on. Okay, so see the color changes. So red litmus is not changed while the blue litmus has changed its color. So what that specify is that the substance we have taken, right? So this is acidic in nature, right? So let's check it for more substances. So this is the another solution I am taking. Okay, and again I will be taking the paper strips. So this is the red one. So let's check it on the red firstly. And similarly I am going to pour a drop of this on the blue also. Okay, so you can see the color change, right? The blue litmus is unchanged while the red litmus has changed its color, but though the color change is not very much clear, right? So that means this is not very strong base. but a tinge of blue color is there, so that means this is basic in nature. Okay. So again, let's check the last one now, whether this is acidic, basic or neutral. Okay. So I'll be taking the solution now. So you can see I have taken the solution, right? So let's pour it on the blue litmus firstly. So you can see the color of blue litmus is unchanged, and similarly let's pour this on the blue litmus, red litmus strip. So again you can see the color is unchanged. So that means this is not going to give any color for the red one and for the blue one, right? So that means the substance is neutral in nature, because this is not going to give you any color change. Okay, so that substance is neutral. Okay, so this is how we are going to check whether a given substance is acidic or basic in nature. So let's start with the next indicator now, because we are done with our litmus paper. So now there is another indicator, that is phenolphthalein. So you must write its spellings very clearly, phenolphthalein. Okay, so what this indicator is? So like we discussed other indicators as natural indicator, this indicator is not natural indicator. This can be prepared in lab. Okay, so it is an organic dye. Okay, and the solution of this dye is colorless. That means phenolphthalein is not having any color. Okay, so this is colorless in nature. Okay, so let's proceed to its working, that how the phenolphthalein indicator it works. Like the litmus, phenolphthalein is also going to give you color changes, right? So phenolphthalein gives pink color when add to a base. That means whenever we are going to add phenolphthalein in a base, it is going to give you a pink color. And what about the acidic solutions? Phenolphthalein, it gives no color change, or you can say the color will be colorless when add to a acid. Okay, so for the base, phenolphthalein will be giving you a pink color. For the acid, it is not going to give you any color, right? So acid, or also you can say for the neutral substances. Okay, so it is not going to give you any color when you are going to add it to acid or to the neutral substances. Okay, so let's check this indicator also. So here I am having phenolphthalein, right? So let's take phenolphthalein indicator, right? So you can see phenolphthalein. Okay, so let's add the solution to acidic and basic one, right? So we will be seeing which solution is acidic and which will be basic. So because one is acidic one and one is basic one. Okay, so let me add this indicator in both the test tubes. 1 and 2 drop of it 2 drop of it. Okay, so now you can see clearly the color change. A very bright pink color is there in the one test tube and the color is not changed in the next test tube, right, the second test tube. So that means if we are getting pink color, that means this must be a base. And if the color is unchanged, that means we are not getting any color, that means the solution must be acidic or neutral. So this is how the phenolphthalein indicator it works. Okay, so I hope all the concepts of indicators they are clear to you, right? Now how the acids they can be harmful for us, right? So what are the various effects of these acids? So the various effects of these acids we are going to discuss in the topic of acid rain. So what happens when these acids they mix in the rain, right? So what is acid rain? The presence of excess amount of acid in the rain leads to acid rain, right? So whenever we are having excess amount of acids that are present in the rain, that we called as acid rain. Now what can be the different sources of the acid rain, right? From where the acids they are being collected, right? So the acid in the rain, it can be collected from the exhaust of automobiles, from the factories, chimneys, the exhaust that is coming from the chimneys, the forest fires, the volcanic eruptions. So all these things they are the source of generation of acid in air, right? So from these activities the acid it gets collected in the air, right? So now what is happening when this acid is mixing with water? Okay, so when the acid from these all sources is mixing with the rainwater, so what is going to be happen now? Right, mostly the gas that are released from these sources they are carbon dioxide, sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide. So these are the various gases that are liberated in this exhaust. Okay, so carbon dioxide when it reacts with water, it is going to give you carbonic acid. So this is the first acid. Sulfur dioxide again when it is going to react, it is going to give you sulfuric acid, right? Nitrogen dioxide when it reacts with water, it is going to give you nitric acid. And these acids they are very harmful. Okay, so they mix with the rainwater, right, and then they come down. So this mixing of these acids with the rain we called as acid rain. Now the question is, what can be the different effects of these acids, or what can be the different effects of acid rain? Right, so firstly you know the rain when it moves into the water bodies. Okay, so when this rain is going to move into the water bodies, it is going to affect the aquatic animals. Okay, so it affects the aquatic animals, right, when it goes into water bodies like lake, ponds and other water bodies. Secondly, right, so it is going to affect the crop yield and sometimes the growth of plants, right? So if this rain is going to fall on the plants, that is going to affect the crop yield and also the growth of these plants. Third, it can lead to various skin problems, right? So if we human beings, we come in contact with the acid rain, so we are going to have many skin diseases. Okay, so what can be the other effects? It affects the monuments or historical buildings. The best example is the Taj Mahal, right? So you can see the marble of the Taj Mahal is becoming yellowish due to the acid rain. Okay, so these are all about the effects of the acid rain. So in the next video we will be discussing about the next topics. So I hope the concept of the indicators and the acid rain is clear to you in this video. Thank you.